What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. Sometimes grown-ups need to lie. We're going to talk about some people maybe doing a lot of lying. We're also going to knock out Mock Draft 2.0. I am pumped. I've been crushing mock drafts. I actually did a mock draft earlier today. Was just about done with it. And then my computer crashed. And one of the reasons we're getting a late start is my computer was just taking a shit. I got things all changed. But I'm excited to knock out Mock Draft 2.0 with my guy, Evo. Welcome in, brother. How you doing? We're going to switch it up this time. Last time I had to draft Fernando Mendoza. This time you're drafting him, right? That's pick number 1?
We'll see when we get there, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. Yeah. Mock draft and draft night, anything could happen. Anything could happen. And the cool thing is that on draft night, when anything could happen, we're going to be there. A week from tomorrow, I will be in Cleveland, linking up with you, and then we'll be making our way out to Pittsburgh for the 2026 NFL Draft. Super excited for everything that's going to be involved with that. Going to keep pumping that up because it's some pretty cool content, pretty cool experience that we're going to be doing. Very, very excited to get out there and be a part of some live action.
Yeah, man, it's going to be incredible. We got the house booked. The house is absolutely bonkers when you guys get to take a look at it, you and producer Amber. I sent you guys the links, by the way. It's going to be incredible. The crew is going to be insane. We'll be linking up with those guys from Sportsocracy, and they're always a really, really great time. Jeremy Green, character, talked to that guy today. I'm excited to see all of those guys. I'm excited to see the way this goes. I mean, because we're going to be there. Jeremy picked 2 of the Jets. He's got a lot of stake in that. So I'm excited to see where I go tonight and maybe piss some more Jets fans off, because I know there were a few Jets fans that maybe didn't love the way I mocked for them earlier. We'll see if I adjust that pick 2. But my man, we got some things to talk about. I assume that you'd like to preface this, considering how much I know that you care for the person that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. So oddly enough, on our last show, producer Amber was in the background. She's sending us private messages being like, you see what happened with Mike Vrabel and Diana Russini and all that stuff. And wasn't aware it was happening as we were kind of doing the show. Things were coming out, and had a lot of thoughts about it, especially after the show when things kind of sat for a little bit. But if you've been living under a rock, the biggest NFL news leading up to the draft has nothing to do with the draft, really. It has to do with Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and I don't even want to call her a reporter, columnist, personality, Diana Russini, now formerly of The Athletic. And their meetup in Sedona, Arizona, at a private adults-only semi-romantic resort. And what looks to be some pretty damning pictures that were taken probably by some sort of a paid paparazzi or something like that, because they're interesting pictures, to say the least, of them, as Dave Portnoy likes to put it, kind of canoodling. Look, I get bros and stuff like that hugging it out, and you and I, we interlock fingers while holding hands all the time in hot tubs and stuff like that. You know, that's pretty normal behavior. But it's just not the greatest of looks. if we're trying to shine light on things in the most positive possible manner. I texted both you and producer Amber about this after having some time to think about it. And if we take the whole thought process of, is Mike Vrabel cheating because he is a married man with Diana Russini, who is a married woman in a private resort in Arizona, and they were caught. That's if we take that out of context, or not out of context, if we just completely don't focus on that, I mean, that's pretty bad. As two married men who are very faithful men, that's a pretty bad thing in and of itself. However, in professional sports, in media, let's be real, it's not an uncommon thing to happen. It's not an uncommon thing in humanity. People are shitheads and shitbags and bad. It's not great, but it's not something that outright is probably going to necessarily get you fired. From a professional, moral, and ethical standpoint, from a head coach to a reporter to the possibility of receiving inside information, which it definitely seems like there was some sort of inside information being transferred, it's not a good look. And it's not like this isn't a sexist thing. This isn't male reporters do shady shit, just like female reporters do shady shit. However, the optics around it are pretty bad. It sets women's journalism back just because of what it looks like. Women have fought so damn hard to get into this space and have forever basically been kind of put in this corner pigeonholed as, oh, you're probably doing this, that, or the other in order to work your way to the top. It happens in all sorts of professional atmospheres for women, and it's not correct. But to put yourself in that sort of situation, to have those sort of optics, and then for all the stuff to kind of be coming out since then, all of the old videos of Diana and the things that she says about her husband, where she's just very disparaging towards her husband, it's not a good look. Not a good look. It really disgusts me for the sake of women's journalism in general. It sucks because there's a lot of really fantastic, even just focusing just on the NFL, women in the NFL in journalism there that do a fantastic job. You know, Mina Kimes and stuff like that. They do fantastic jobs, and then this kind of sets them all back and creates a bigger issue. Initially, The Athletic came out backing Diana Russini, saying this is being taken out of context. She said she's there on a girls' trip with 6 other people, 6 other girls or whatever. And
I don't doubt that Vrabel's got the dick for it. He's going to cut it in half and still have 6 inches. But
yeah. Either way, they backed her initially, but The Athletic is owned by the New York Times, the parent company. As more and more kind of stuff came out about this and the optics didn't look good, they decided to do an internal investigation and kind of shelf Diana in the meantime. Both Vrabel and Diana the same day released statements basically saying, like, this is being overblown. Y'all are thinking that something happened and it didn't. But what was really more weird, I think, was the rest of the media kind of stayed quiet.
Yeah.
They didn't touch the subject, which I get from a professional standpoint to an extent.
Every one of them is doing something like this, though. I mean, so maybe not everybody's sucking dick for a story. And ladies, trust me, I know there are plenty of dudes out there that would suck a dick for a story. So I'm not saying that's a women-only problem, okay? But to act like that this is a massive overstep on like the player reporter coach relationship. Everybody has a little quid pro quo type thing going on. Hey, if you give me inside information, I'll say good shit about you. How the fuck do you think inside information is retrieved? It's not for nothing. So
all these team insiders have links within the team that remain anonymous, and they feed information to the public that the team wants out there, not directly, but they want out there. It helps push narratives. It helps push public perception, things like that. And yes, there is definitely quid pro quo situations. You talk good about me and I'll give you some information. And then if something happens, like, I get a speeding ticket, you go a little bit easier on me and things like that. Like those things are definitely out there. We're not saying it's right, but from a moral, ethical standpoint, this is something that we can talk about because here at Raw Dog Sports, we are military. We're veterans. You have fraternization policies in the military.
100%.
Where you don't fraternize with people of higher rank or your leadership and things like that, because it creates these sorts of weird situations where people can't trust the information. They can't trust direction. They think that there might be other motives behind why things are happening. I, for one, have been extremely hard on Diana Rossini's reporting because it all seems to be information that's fed to her. And to be 100% honest, I just haven't thought that she's been knowledgeable on most subjects that she talks about, that she's just been a blatant mouthpiece, and that she's put out a lot of clickbait stuff to try to drum up views and attention. And she says contrarian things, much like your Skip Baylesses, your Colin Cowards, and things like that. They will say stuff like that to drum up that sort of, eyes on their product. And I get that's part of the gig, but also like doubling down on certain things that kind of are patently false. So it doesn't seem like she really knew the sport that well. It seemed like she enjoyed being a part of the sport and the connections that she was able to make, and would report stuff that would obviously be fed by a mouthpiece without having any sort of true reporting on it, any intellectual discourse about it. And that's kind of seems like what was going on. And then this internal review happens, and it hasn't completed yet, but she put in her resignation today with The Athletic, which I also find interesting because she takes zero responsibility. Doesn't say this does look bad or anything. Now, this is all conjecture here on my part. But have you ever known a group of women who go on a trip to a fancy resort that costs thousands of dollars a day to stay at, a girls' trip, or any sort of a girls' get-together event where they don't take pictures together?
No.
You don't think that she could have produced one picture to show, look at all these other people I was with, even if she blacks out their faces or anything like that? You don't think that any one of her good friends that would have gone to this place would have stepped up and backed her in the meantime? And if you truly don't have anything to hide, if you truly are justified in what you're doing and you're being investigated, and you work for one of the bigger sports media reporting agencies out there, don't you think that you would fight to keep your job? That you would fight to clear your name? And you've done nothing? It just doesn't add up to me. It seems like this is a cop-out. Here, let me bounce out. Her contract was up in June, I think, by the way. Probably saw the writing on the wall that she was probably going to be fired for unethical reporting at the very least, and is now trying to go dark for a little bit to try to hopefully get a job back in the NFL or in sports reporting. But I don't know where she's going to fit in now, because as of right
here,
now,
baby, right here on the podcast.
Oh God, that
not on this one, but on a podcast.
Yeah, she'll have her own podcast.
100%. That's exactly what she's going to fold it into.
But this is the thing: is that what league sources are really going to be talking to her that she can actually name? We have 32 NFL head coaches, all of who are men as of right now. You think any one of them with a wife or significant other is going to be like, yeah, you go ahead and talk to Diana Rossini?
Never.
This is the second time that she's had this sort of conduct alleged against her. Washington Commanders minority owner, his wife also brought these allegations against her back during COVID.
Oh.
She retracted it.
Interesting.
But it has been brought forward before that it's been a concern. What good NFL coach, I don't even have to say good NFL coach, what NFL coach that has a spouse is going to have that spouse be like, yeah, you go ahead and talk to her. I'll feel cool with that. I don't know
Somebody who's got apparently 6 inches of dick to give.
I don't know about producer Amber, but my wife wouldn't be fucking cool with me talking to her. So I don't know what sort of reliable sources, not that she had that greater reliable sources before, are going to be willing to have their names attached. What NFL teams are going to want their names attached? So she really royally screwed herself in this industry, because all the other female reporters out there are probably pissed. They would have been her allies, and now they're probably pissed that they hurt her, or that she hurt them and their professional careers. You have the male side of the industry, which can be pretty fucking terrible at times. Not to say that I'm not being terrible to her right now by calling her out on this shit. But I don't really care, because I think it's pretty fucked. Oh, yeah. It's pretty fucked. And I just don't know how she's going to fit into the space very well anymore. I don't know how her husband, who owns Shake Shack, by the way.
Shake Shack.
Is doing perfectly fine for himself.
Yeah, he's got some money.
And is getting all the stuff from when he's been drugged through the mud by her before. I don't know how he sits with this and is like, okay, yeah, you made me look like a fool. You've talked shit about me in public, and now it looks pretty public that something bad happened, and you're not even willing to try to clear your name. You're just like, nah, I'm out. Yeah, I didn't do it, but I'm out.
They're getting divorced.
You would think.
You would think.
Yeah. Then for Vrabes to back out of, media stuff as well, I get it to an extent, but also it doesn't make you look the most innocent in this, which we have a lot of respect for Vrabel as a coach and a former player and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that he's beyond reproach and that he isn't possibly going to fuck up and do something like this. Yeah. And that's pretty fucking bad too. Definitely makes me feel a very different way about Vrabel. So very interesting situation. I think that she looked guilty before, and today, and her resignation just makes her look even more guilty. And at the end of the day, I'm just kind of sad for female journalism. Yeah, and I think that we need to focus on that and uplift and support the great female journalists that are out there doing the right thing. Like you said, Mina Kimes, Kay Adams, like a bunch of the good ones out there that
Producer Amber.
Doing great things for that community, and not the ones who are doing things more lascivious ways.
Right. Man, I don't want to drag Russini too much more. I mean, this is going to go on for forever.
Well, it'll go on for a week.
Well, yeah, the news cycle's pretty quick. But the damage done to female journalism is going to go way longer than a week. I mean, you go on any fucking social media platform and a woman who is posting about sports, and go into the comment section and tell me what you find. And that happens now. What do you think the fallout is going to be after Diana Russini? Like, God forbid this happens again with somebody else. It's not okay for people to be saying these disgusting, disparaging things to women who are working in sports. If you're doing that, you're a fucking douchebag. But when you have things like Russini and the absolute just disregard for, I guess, the sanctity of the fucking profession. I mean, God, we're not so far removed, February, where, God forbid, a journalist say a nice thing to a goddamn coach in a press conference after he loses. And the journalistic integrity of that. Like, let's have a similar energy for this type of thing, because what Russini did irreparably, like, damn. Well, I guess not irreparably. I will hope that will come back, but it is severely tarnished women's standing in sports because there are going to be so many dumbass people that just assume one did it, so everybody else is going to do it. Like, she is not a good steward of the profession. I will say it that way.
Yeah, that's I haven't gone to college for sports journalism. I haven't been in that space like you, but I'm sure you have ethics classes and things like that. And
we're supposed to. So we go over some journalistic integrity things for sure in my comms classes, especially with advancements in AI. But I don't want to sidetrack us too much onto that shit. That's a whole separate podcast.
Yeah. So that's where I stand. You can, not you, but the royal you who are watching can absolutely disagree with me and our stake in this whole thing. Look, we should have known it last year when KOC was very cagey with her with interviews. KOC's a good dude. He doesn't like having, I won't use that word, around.
No, don't do it. We've been really good. All right. Hey, my man. So let's get into some mock draft. That's what the show is supposed to be mostly for today. We had to talk Russini, though. We just barely missed having this news break while we were live. Like, I guess it kind of was breaking, but we were just getting off as it was happening. Not Russini was, but anyways, Vrabel for sure was.
I wouldn't. I don't know. Like, shame on him. Really, shame on him.
Come on. Let's
of
not. Russini is a very
that
attractive woman. Her voice drives me batshit crazy.
None of it to me.
Okay. All right.
It's not my wife.
There you go. You got to, producer Amber, I love you. I keep trying to say nice things. Keeps putting me in a spot every time. But listen, she's a good looking woman.
Each their own, but I don't think so. Okay. Anyways, mock draft time.
Hell yeah, let's talk mock drafts instead of time to receive.
Yeah. All righty. So this is going to be mock draft 2.0. Last time, Mike picked for the odds and the Browns. This time, I'm going to be picking the odds and the Vikings. And what are we looking at over here?
I think that I'm an idiot because the Browns are even. So I'm pretty sure I picked evens last time.
Well, you definitely picked the Browns regardless, but you will be picking the Browns this time. Doesn't really matter.
Fuck it.
Either way, we are going to be running this as a what we would do mock draft, not predictive. We'll be having a predictive mock come up prior to the actual NFL draft. And we are not going to be using PFF. We're going to be using a new kind of program out there, one that we talked about in the show, one that's fantastic. Stick to the model. All right. If you guys have not gone to Stick to the Model yet, this is a fantastic online program. You can run a full NFL offseason with this thing. So prior to free agency starting, I was using this. You're able to sign players, drop players, extend them, restructure contracts, everything, draft, the whole 9 yards, and it will simulate your entire season for you. But we wanted to do something different than PFF for reasons, because the fuck PFF, about to be gone anyways. And
listen, agreed. I got to finish my fucking draft series with PFF, though. Like, I'm not changing it midway through.
Absolutely. But stick to the model. We're going to use their mock draft simulator. It's pretty damn good. Pretty cool. A lot of cool features on here. We're able to see depth charts. We're able to execute trades, which is another part of today's draft. If at our picks, we feel like a trade is possible, or if one of the teams that we are drafting for is a team that we would like to possibly trade up or down, we can try to execute those trades. We're going to try to keep it as realistic as possible. All right. Like I said, we're not going to see the Packers, who are not in the first round, trade their entire draft for Zane Gonzalez. I know I'm funny, Mike. God.
Yep, you're good. Let's keep going.
But trades are possible in this, what we would do mock draft. So we will just wanted to preface that before we get into it. But are you ready to get this bad boy started off here, Mike?
Yes.
All right. So,
Choking.
first overall pick, Las Vegas Raiders. They have signed Kirk Cousins. They've got a bridge quarterback there. It should be Fernando Mendoza with this pick. Would anyone like to trade up? Would you like to trade up with me with the Jets?
No, I'm going to wait till next year to get my quarterback.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's outside of the realm that a trash franchise could try to just trade everything to get a quarterback. But for the Raiders, while, yes, next year is a better draft for quarterbacks, Fernando Mendoza is good, but still he'd be fourth, fifth best quarterback probably in next year's draft. You don't know, as the Raiders, where you're going to be picking next year. You might be able to get a shitload of draft capital from a team to move up and get Fernando Mendoza this year and try to use that to find your way to a quarterback next year. But you're counting your chickens before they've hatched. You got to go with the guy that you have here available now and try to build around that. That's Fernando Mendoza. So that is who the Raiders will be taking with pick number 1. Surprise, surprise.
I am not surprised. How the fuck do I... there we go. Draft Fernando Mendoza.
Also, if we make a mistake, there's a redo button. We can undo.
Oh, man. This is already better than fucking PFF. All right. Mendoza's the right answer. Listen, we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. He's going to be the pick. He will be behind Kirk, I would imagine, for a little while, maybe an entire year. But that is the future of the Raiders. That you can listen to all the national pundits. Everybody wants to find ways why Fernando Mendoza is not the best quarterback. I don't know what everybody is projecting, but if you go look, he was clearly better. Now, you can talk about scheme and how good was he coached. Fine. He's got all the physical measurables, and he's the best one in this class. You can project Ty Simpson based off of his, 12, 13 fucking starts. But Fernando's the guy.
Ty might have a higher ceiling, but the percentage chance of him hitting that ceiling is a lot lower than Mendoza hitting his ceiling, my expectation. And Mendoza's ceiling might not be sky high, but it can be top 15-ish quarterback if he hits the Kirk Cousins range. Kirk Cousins, at least statistically, was around quarterback 10 in the league or sometimes better through a big part of his career. And you can do damage with that in the NFL. So it makes absolute sense.
I absolutely agree. Jets are on the clock. Now, the way this is laid out, it says wide receiver is the biggest need. Inside linebacker, quarterback. I like that it tells you that they need 3 tech or a nickel. That's kind of a nice little thing to do as well. Now, wide receiver feels like it. I don't know why that is the top need here. I still feel like edge is where the Jets probably are leaning.
This might not even necessarily be the precedence of order of what you need. Absolutely. I'm not sure completely with stick to the model. It does just show you general team needs for sure, though.
It does. Now, I know that David Bailey is a guy that Jeremy Green loves and is hoping goes to the Jets. Got the write-up here on him. An impressive athlete with a deep bag of pass rush moves. Gosh, I'm sorry. That choke got me bad. At 6'3", 250, originally went to Stanford as a 4-star recruit. Became an immediate starter. The dude's played a shitload of football. He's a great athlete. I'm having a hard time not taking him, other than the fact that I know that Arvell Reese also has the ability to be an incredible goddamn pass rusher. It just kind of comes into a fit more for me because I still think edge is the right way for them to go, because that's where a lot of the high caliber talent is. And then there's a huge drop off in the edges in my mind. You got to get 1 or 2, 3 of these guys I think are really going to be fucking awesome. And then there's a precipitous drop off. So I'm going to take a guy. I'm going to go David Bailey. I'm going to take David Bailey here at 2 and sticking with kind of what I was going with before.
All right. And look, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts where I'm trying to do the entire first round. It's been a more hot button thing lately that David Bailey would go here to the Jets. I've kind of been on this for a little bit, especially since that combine. I felt like David Bailey is the safer of the two prospects when you're talking about Arvell, Reese, or Bailey at the edge spot. I have a bit, I guess, of a hot take, one that we haven't really talked about on the show. I think Arvell Reese has an extremely high ceiling. I don't think he's going to hit there. I think when this is all said and done, when we look at this 5, 6, or even 6, 7 years down the line, Arvell Reese might be a good player, but I don't think he's going to be first round worthy. And I know that that's a tough take. I think that his best position is more at a off-ball linebacker, like an outside linebacker rather than an edge rusher. I think he can be a decent edge rusher, but I like him a lot more as just like a normal linebacker. I see the pass rush upside of a David Bailey being a lot higher. And I like him as that Jets pick because I feel like he's safer, at least with this player in the field. Yes, he has some off-field concerns. Mm-hmm. They should be thought about, discussed, but also if you're able to kind of keep him in check, that's the type of crazy that you want from an edge rusher. You want someone who's got a mean streak to him to an extent. So David Bailey being the pick there makes a lot of sense. Now, next, Arizona Cardinals. I'm up with them. Obviously, a lot of needs with this team. They have been bit in the butt by taking players who are kind of weird tweeners. Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons, before their time. Those were different regimes than what's here now. Arvell Reese, very commonly, if he makes it here to 3, gets picked a lot at 3. You could be talking about a Jeremiah Love, who I think is one of the top 2 players in this class, but it's way too early for a team like Arizona to be taking a running back, in my opinion. It's a little bit more of a luxury pick. I don't know if you're going to be happy with this, but I'm going with, we have a new head coach there. They don't expect to be good this year. They want to build a foundation for this team going forward, but they don't necessarily want to propel themselves into possibly having any chance of becoming a lot better this year. I'm going with my best tackle in this draft, Francis Mauigoa. CC Mauigoa, big dude, can play guard, can play tackle. I think that'll be a fantastic right tackle. I think that he could be a fantastic guard as well. But this is building for the future, building off that foundation with the lines. I think it is a safe play for them. Arizona absolutely would be open, though, to a trade if anyone is interested. Is there anyone that you think that would be willing to possibly move up to 3, and who would they be going for? Because you do have an Arvell Reese here. If someone like a Kansas City wanted to get a little bit cagey and move up there to get an edge rusher that they need. A Cincinnati who missed out on getting they got Trey Hendrickson, but missed out on a Max Crosby. Dallas has been in talks about wanting a guy like a David Bailey.
That's what I was thinking, was the Dallas, because Dallas has the juice, I think, to come up with 2 firsts this year.
Let's see. So there are trade offers for this pick, which are automatically created by stick to the model, or we could create a trade here. Let's see what Dallas has to offer. So they got the 2 firsts this year, which is absolutely probably in play there. Pick 12 and 20 for pick number 3 is actually not even enough value technically, but I think the Cardinals would be desperate enough at this point. If they're trying to build this team long-term, they would be willing to take a little bit of a hit on this. I mean, there's a bunch of 5th-round picks. They got 3 5th-round picks for Dallas as well, if you were to throw one of those in there. Not a huge value boost or value add, but it gets them maybe a little bit closer.
They have a 4th. I already took Mauigoa on mine, so I can't do the trade. But
you can undo it.
Oh, that's fucking right.
You can undo it. Actually, maybe I'm reading this correct because incorrect. Yeah, it's actually, this is enough value. Dallas is offering 616 points. The 3rd overall pick is 514. So theoretically, pick 12 and 20 would be enough. Would Dallas be willing to package those 2 to move up to get someone like
3? Like I've people in Cleveland have been talking about they would package that to come up to 6. I think they would absolutely do that to go up to fucking 3.
Do you think Arvell Reese is a player that fits with that team, with that defense? I know there's been some comps to a Micah Parsons.
I think that might get Jerry in trouble.
You think Jerry gives a fuck?
No. Jerry's a billionaire who's fucking on his last legs, dog. Like,
well, you have pick 12 here with the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
You're picking evens. I'm picking odds.
And I have 20. I have 12 and 20.
So is this something that you would want to do as the Cowboys here? Because Cardinals, I will accept this.
For Arvell Reese, do I want to give up 12 and 20? No, because I think the board's going to fall in a fashion that I can get a fucking safety I like, potentially, and not have to give up both of my first-round picks. I think I can attack both things. So if I'm Dallas, I'm not giving up both to go up for Arvell Reese. I like Arvell Reese, but I like more first-round picks. They had a lot of fucking holes on that defense.
Yeah.
Is Arvell Reese a difference-making? Does he change your franchise? That's a big gamble. That's what you're going.
If he were to hit the Micah Parsons ceiling, then yes.
Sure.
But again, like I just said earlier, I think I'm not going to call him a bust.
I'm going to think he's going to be a good player.
That's the thing is, I'm not calling him a bust, but I think that for the positional where he will be picked in this draft, that he will not be worth the value when we look at it coming time for his second contract.
Well, if he doesn't become an edge rusher, his value is just going to be dropped anyways because it'll be off ball.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like other offers here. Baltimore would want to come up. Jets would come up again. Pittsburgh or Tennessee for a small jump up. I don't think Tennessee would necessarily do it unless they really want Arvell Reese. You're not getting a whole lot in return. I mean, actually, pick 66 would be pretty nice for the Cardinals just to drop back one spot. Because I don't know that Tennessee is going to be moving up for that offensive lineman that I would be taking if I was Arizona.
No.
But I don't know if you as Tennessee would be willing to do that either.
I mean, that's not my next pick. We're only doing first round. Fuck that. No, I mean, that would be terrible for Tennessee. Like, that's a team that was bereft of talent as well.
All right. Well, I will stick with this pick then. Francis Mauigoa, CC, going to the Cardinals to help build out that franchise long term, not in the short term for whatever quarterback they get in there next year. Now you're up with the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans on the clock. Some of the needs: wide receiver, edge, offensive tackle. Obviously, tackle now gone with Mauigoa off the board.
Not completely gone.
Not completely gone. There's Fano right here. Wide receiver.
And Arvell Reese is still there.
Arvell Reese is still sitting there. So at this point, I don't know that I could. If I'm Tennessee, you kind of feel like you have to take him. I also think they would fucking be ecstatic to do so. I'm going Arvell Reese right here at 4.
I know that Jeremiah Love gets comped there a lot. But they talk about him. I love Jeremiah Love.
For sure.
I think that it would be good to give your young quarterback a weapon like a Jeremiah Love and to focus on that side of the ball to an extent to try to make at least one side better. And hopefully Robert Saleh is able to elevate that entire defense. But I don't personally like the fit. I think they have okay running back options there already. Like this to me is a Sonny Styles. If you think that Sonny Styles becomes like Fred Warner too, or an Arvell Reese where you can have Robert Saleh do all sorts of crazy shit with him. So the Arvell Reese pick with him sitting there makes a ton of sense to me.
All right. Giants, you're on the clock.
All right, next up, New York Giants. Also a lot of needs here. There's been some talks about would they take a Jeremiah Love as well? And I know you have Scadaboo there, completely different types of backs. You also have Tyrone Tracy. I think that's too much of a luxury pick for Harbaugh there as well. Harbaugh is going to elevate this team just by being there. There's already good pieces. But I like the fit of a Sonny Styles here.
Okay.
Now, let me explain why. I know that positional value, people think that Sonny Styles could fall. Who do the Giants have in their division? Dak Prescott, you don't have to worry about too much, but you have a very mobile quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You have a very, very mobile quarterback playing for that Washington Commanders team. You need a guy like a Sonny Styles that can absolutely take away that attack. I think Sonny Styles works in that defense. Maybe not one that people like to bang the table for. I wouldn't take offensive line off the table here either, or a guy like Carnell Tate to add to that wide receiver room, but I'm going with Sonny Styles, pick number 5 for the Giants.
All right, Sonny. Listen, I love Sonny. I did not expect Sonny to go right here. I thought maybe we could see like a Mansoor Delane climb up a little bit higher because the need. I've also seen wide receiver kind of mocked there. I don't necessarily know that I love the idea of that. I think building the defense out is going to be the right way to go for them. So I love Sonny Styles. I'm sure they can figure out a way to use him. And Harbaugh's a good coach, so I ain't worried.
That's, to me, if Mauigoa was there, there'd be a serious conversation because I sneakily think that he would want to go trenches as well. He's spoken this offseason about wanting to build up the trenches. Assuming that you're able to keep Dexter Lawrence there and things work out, which the news today is that they've had positive talks on that front. You got to build out on the offense to keep those offensive weapons like Jackson Dart, like Scadaboo, Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors operational. So it would make a lot of sense if CC makes it here at this point. And even then, you have guys like a Spencer Fano, which I think he is kind of becoming a little bit more undervalued right now. He's still a damn good offensive lineman, whether that is at tackle, guard, or center, which I think he has the possibility of playing all those positions. That being said, I will say this. One of the pods that I really like, the O-line committee that has former offensive linemen on it, have all said they don't think that he has the body style to play tackle. We heard that a lot about Will Campbell. I know that there's still thoughts about whether or not Will Campbell should be playing tackle. Same sort of thoughts about Fano, not necessarily with the arm length stuff, but overall his body composition, they're worried about him playing tackle, think that he would be better on the inside.
Listen, Fano is not going to go here to the Browns at 6, but he is the next best tackle probably on the board after Mauigoa. I know people are falling in love with other guys. Monroe Freeling is still all over the goddamn board. Sometimes he's as high as like 8. I know Browns fans have talked about him at 6. I've also seen him way at the back end. But right here, if the board falls this way and Carnell Tate's sitting right fucking there and the Browns don't take him, I hope bad things happen to Andrew Berry. The pick is Carnell Tate. Like, we need a guy who is a big body receiver who can win contested catches. We had a tiny ass wide receiver room. Like, some of those guys are going to be fine. Like, we were good on fucking end around jet sweeps again. It was cool. I was fucking shocked. But we don't have anybody that can go down the field and win, and Carnell Tate is the best at it. He ran a slower 40 time. I don't give a fuck. So did Devontae Adams. Who gives a shit? He runs routes crisp as fuck. Carnell Tate is the pick, and if it's not with him on the board, I think there's going to be a lot of fucking furious goddamn Browns fans.
Yeah. And Andrew Berry whips off his mask, and it's Tom Polad. Yeah. All right, next up, Washington Commanders. They are not happy that Sonny Styles isn't there. They're not happy that Arvell Reese didn't make it here. They want a defensive player. Though I will say this, I think Sonny Styles would be good for them long term, but you're talking about a linebacker room there that I think already has some decent pieces. And I think that it might be a little bit of too many cooks in the kitchen at that linebacker room if they were to take a Sonny Styles personally. I know he gets taken there quite a bit. But we're talking about a Commanders team that needs a lot of help. Edge help would make a lot of sense here. I am going to go with Rueben Bain. I think Rueben Bain, the arm length conversation has to kind of stop.
Okay.
I get it. I get he's got short arms. the production against good talent was there. I've heard some people say, like, yeah, if he's doing your traditional edge rush stuff, then yeah, a guy with longer arms can get to him. But also, if you look at his arms, they like are two little short jackhammers. He's going to be able to swat. He's going to be able to kind of break away a little bit. I think the production has been insane for Rueben Bain. So Rueben Bain to the Washington Commanders.
Rueben Bain to the Washington Commanders. Now, this is higher than I would probably have him going. They have him labeled here as a 3 tech. We've heard the conversations about him moving more inside. In your opinion, would you rather see him in a 3-4 end spot? Or do you think he's got to be coming off the edge? Where is his best spot in your mind?
3-4 end makes a lot of sense to me, but at the end of the day, he's scheme versatile and down and distance versatile to me. You don't have to take him off. It's not like one of those guys that's an edge rusher, like some of the guys in this draft class that you really only want them out there on pass rush downs. And R. Mason Thomas, I really only want out there on pass rush downs because he isn't great against the run. That's not Rueben Bain. You can have him out there for anything, and you can move him all across the line, and he becomes a weapon. So yeah, his body style fits the 3-4 end a little bit better, but he's able to move inside if necessary, and they can get more edge rush talent out there, guys that are more traditional pass rushers, or you can move him to the outside and you're still going to get some pass rush capability because obviously he was very productive at Miami with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't argue with the numbers that he put up. That shit is forever. So
that's the thing. Look, I try to not get wrapped around the measurables, like the arm length stuff, because the tape is outstanding. Right. Like he was talked about prior to people really getting into his arm length as a top 3 prospect in this class. It wasn't a David Bailey or an Arvell Reese. It was Rueben Bain and everyone else until they started talking about his arm length.
Right. Well, man, this is not setting up good for me for this next pick because the Saints are on the clock and they need an edge. They could also maybe use a wide receiver. Linebacker, I'm not taking a linebacker here, not with who the hell is left. So starts getting a little dicey. But I have a really old running back on my team who maybe doesn't need to be around getting paid the amount that he's getting paid right now. I would hate to see Alvin Kamara be a late salary cap casualty. But with me drafting Jeremiah Love to the Saints right here, I think that's an entirely solid possibility. Listen, Jeremiah Love is an absolute dog. One of the top 3 prospects in this draft in my mind.
Do you think they're going to take him after they just signed Etienne?
Oh, fuck. I completely forgot. No, I don't think they will do that. Where the fuck do you see their depth chart?
So top right, and honestly, he's not in there. That's how I just had it checked.
Oh, so
he's
that's
not
what I
in
was
there.
like.
But the top right, you can click Command Center, and you're able to see their depth chart.
I got it here.
But for some reason, it's not showing.
Not showing him in there.
Not showing him in there.
Okay.
But he did sign.
All right.
Etienne did sign there for a pretty hefty contract.
All right. So no, that's going to make me change my pick now. Wide receiver. No. Man. Let me. They brought in Noah Fant. I'm going to go receiver because that wide receiver room is kind of shit outside of Chris Olave. Do I want Makai Lemon, who is an absolute dog, potential issues in terms of character? Not that the Saints have had a problem bringing in those types of guys before. Tyrann Mathieu went down there, was able to figure it out and was just fine. Jordan Tyson, also an incredibly talented receiver, but you worry about the injury issues. And with Olave, if you got 2 guys that are getting banged up, that makes it even a little scarier. I think Lemon is an absolute dog. The only question I have is, will he? It's not. It has nothing to do with his play, so it's hard for me to not take him here because he's going to be. I think he's going to be healthier than Jordan Tyson. So I'm going to go with Makai Lemon to the Saints right here.
All right. Look, you can't argue again with the film, with the tape. We've had one weird interaction there at the combine where he did look like he was on the gas. And look, a lot of players do that. It was weird. And wide receivers can be weird, but you can't argue with that production. If they're going to try to put good pieces around Tyler Shuck, that's absolutely one way to go about it. All right, next up, Kansas City Chiefs. Wide receiver here makes a lot of sense to me as well. They would have gone with Jeremiah Love if they had known Jeremiah Love would be here. I think that they would have absolutely loved to have taken him, but they did sign the best free agent running back out there. So I don't know that you make a crazy two-headed monster like that out there. But they did have a lot of loss in that defensive backfield, specifically at cornerback. You have Mansoor, Delane, and Jermod McCoy here. Jermod McCoy did run that fantastic 40, looked good at his pro day after not doing a whole lot. And I'm back, baby. Like, I'm back in on him. I think that he is very possibly the best cornerback in this draft, except for today reports about medicals did come out, and they say that they believe there is a degenerative knee issue possibly where a lot of teams have red flagged him, basically making him undraftable or not worth a first-round pick because of a potential degenerative knee issue, which scares me a little bit. I'm going to go with Mansoor Delane here because he is safer and they need cornerback help. So Mansoor Delane, best available cornerback that doesn't have those injury concerns there.
Okay, Mansoor Delane. I've seen it mocked several times.
Ken Sadiq also a possibility as a long-term Travis Kelce replacement, and also kind of helps at that wide receiver spot because Sadiq is a fantastic receiver. But I'm going to go with Delane just because it's a more pressing need for them right now.
All right. I don't love what's happening here. Now, there's some trades available on mine.
I got the Jets wanting to move up from 16, giving 16 and 44 on mine. Get the pick 10.
Dallas, I can get 12 and 92, it says.
Who would Dallas be moving up for, and who would they be trying to beat out? Would they be beating out? It would be
Caleb Downs, I think. It would be Caleb Downs. I mean, I guess it could be Feynman. I've seen him mocked very high recently as well. But I think it would have to be Caleb Downs if you're going up, if you're Dallas at this point. If you're going to use any capital, that's the guy you want. I think that's the guy that a lot of people want if they have an option to trade up. Fucking Jeremiah Love sitting here. I'm surprised the Vikings aren't calling right now.
Well, as Rob Brzezinski, as much as I would love to trade up for Jeremiah Love, it's going to be too rich for my blood. Okay, Cincinnati. You playing Cincinnati here as my Minnesota Vikings. I would offer you something that you're probably not going to want to take. I'll give you my first number 18.
Let me find the goddamn Vikings in here real quick.
And pick 82.
82. Eat my ass. What?
According to the trade value chart, I'm only off by 28 points.
82.
Considered a fair offer, they may accept.
Yeah, so it's fair. How about a next year second?
Absolutely not. I'll give you just a next year's second. No pick 18, no pick 92.
All right. Well, no, I'm good. We'll leave it there. Yeah, so next year's picks are worth fucking their weight in gold. Well, listen, if I'm the Bengals here, I know I need help on the fucking defensive side of the ball. I could basically pick anybody on defense, and it's going to help me. Caleb Downs is sitting right here. I can keep him in Ohio. I'm fucking taking him if I'm the Bengals. Like, the fact that he's fallen here, I'm going to take him.
Yeah, it would be tough to watch Caleb Downs fall much further.
Yeah.
Is that the pick for you?
It is the pick.
All right. Not much needs to be said there. Caleb Downs, I think, is a blue chip prospect, one of the best in the draft. Sad to see him fall this far and sad to see him go to the Bengals, but they need the help. They absolutely need it.
That's 4 Buckeyes in the top 10, by the way.
All right. Miami Dolphins are up. They could use help all over the damn place. All over the damn place. I'm going to go with Spencer Fano. I think they need help multiple spots in the offensive line. He could help multiple spots in the offensive line. Just get your best guys out there if you want to help Malik Willis at all. Stay upright, get offensive line. You have a Packers coach and Packers front office going in there. They value the trenches a little bit more and guys who have positional flexibility, which Fano brings, because we saw that with those Packers offensive lines all the time. Guys were in different spots every other week. So Spencer Fano, to me, a guy who, again, I think is being a little bit underrated right now for what he is. Like, he is a very solid offensive lineman, especially with some versatility to him. So safe pick there for me if I'm Miami. I would also have considered going at cornerback. Jermod McCoy makes a lot of sense if you aren't red flagging him, which I don't know. We're just over a week out from the draft. There's going to be a lot of people throwing shade at certain players in hopes that they will start to kind of fall and hope to their team. So I don't know how much credibility I will give to that. Obviously, we will see what happens on draft night.
Yes, we will. And you brought up the versatility for Fano. The Dolphins are so bad right now with everything that has happened. They could use help anywhere and everywhere along the offensive line. And we brought it up. Like, if Fano slides inside, okay, now you've still got a guy inside who is better than probably anything that Miami's trotting out there right now. But that's going to take us to number 12 with Dallas. And you just brought up the guy I'm taking, Jermod McCoy. If there's an organization that is not going to worry about any of that noise, outside noise bullshit, it's probably the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Jermod McCoy, the tape was incredible when he was playing. Like, they need cornerback help like you would not believe. Like, this is not a guy who's going to get torched for 1,000 yards, but also get 8 picks. Motherfuckers just aren't catching the ball. How does all the medical stuff work out? Well, you know what? He came to his pro day, ran really well. There's plenty of other questions that are being asked as this gets closer and closer. I don't think that they're going to give a shit. Jermod McCoy is the pick for Dallas. Fills a huge need and potentially was the top corner going into this last year before he got hurt.
All righty.
Jermod McCoy.
That brings me up here with the LA Rams. Very commonly are getting mocked at wide receiver here. Your top 2 off the board, that leaves Jordan Tyson and some question marks there with him as far as his health. I'm, again, going to bang the drum on this. If you're able to get past the health, I think that he could be absolutely fantastic. I see too much goddamn Justin Jefferson in this guy to be that scared of him. Like, if you have a possible game-breaking talent like that, would be incredibly scary. But you have a Rams team here that traded away a decent amount of draft capital in order to bring in players. They obviously traded one of their first-round picks with the Chiefs this year in order to bring in a cornerback. I think the Chiefs would be interested in trading with my Vikings. Or excuse me, the Rams would be interested in trading with my Vikings to stop this Jeremiah Love fall.
Do you think so? Or do the Rams not ever pick in the first round and have a chance to add here? Because what is the point of fuck them picks now? You've already done it once and you helped the team. I understand why you want this to happen, but why would the Rams want to move down? Is what I'm questioning.
Let me double check here and see exactly what the Rams have to work with. First, second, third, and then nothing past that third really until the 6th round. A huge drop off of over 100 picks.
Fuck them picks. They don't care.
It's true. All right. Well, I'm cool with sticking here with the Rams. And I think that I really like Tyson. I really do. I think that this is probably higher than he will go, but I'm a huge fan of what he can be, how he could replace Devontae Adams going forward. You do have a little bit of concerns and question marks with Puka Nacua and the rehab situation. So I'm going to be going with Jordan Tyson. I think that he has the potential to be the best wide receiver out of this class if the medicals check out. Carnell Tate has an extremely high ceiling and an extremely high floor, but Jordan Tyson's ceiling is incredibly high.
All right, Jordan Tyson it is. And that puts me on the clock with Baltimore. God damn it. I have to take my favorite lineman, who I constantly screw his name up, dude. Vega Ione.
Yep.
I got it now, but like, dude, I will say it all backwards. I'm terrible with names. I need my pronunciation guide back. But in my opinion, this guy could be the best offensive lineman in this class when it's all said and done, kind of without question. Meets a huge need. The Baltimore Ravens have always been kind of predicated on being able to run the ball, and fucking AFC North football is all about being able to fucking play smash mouth football. Damn, that was hard to say, dude. So Vega Ione is going to be the pick here, and I hate it because he's like one of my favorite guys. I gotta send him to Baltimore.
Makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a lot of sense. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers up here. I think that their biggest need is at edge rush. Not a lot of great edge rush talent here right now. The next guy that I would even consider, even though Keldrick Falk is listed here at 23, I think that you've got Akeem Mesidor, who makes a lot of sense. He's older. You've got a guy in there, head coach Todd Bowles, who's kind of on the hot seat. You need someone who can jump in there and play right away. Another guy who commonly gets mocked here is a Kenyon Sadiq, a different type of tight end than what they already have there in Cade Otton.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Baker likes to have those dump-off guys. You also lose a guy like Mike Evans, who is a safety net. You could be gaining a safety net there in Kenyon Sadiq. So it makes a lot of sense to me in that respect. Yeah, I'll go Kenyon Sadiq. I'll take Sadiq. Give him offensive weapons.
Okay.
Don't love it. Would have been interested in potentially trading back, but we'll go with Sadiq.
All right, Kenyon Sadiq. Puts the Jets back on the clock. Went David Bailey earlier. Now, where to go? So, obviously, Jeremiah Love is sitting right there. It would be so hard for him to fall this far. Like, I cannot imagine he's going to fall this far. But maybe he does.
In real life, I feel like a team's probably already traded up for him if he starts to get past Big Ten.
Same, but the Jets don't have a need. At least not in my mind.
I mean, Breece Hall's a very good back.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, something that they definitely would be looking for, but all the top-end talent ones are gone unless you're higher on Concepcion, if you're higher on Omar Cooper Jr., or you like what you can get there in a Denzel Boston. Dylan Thieneman, I've seen mocked to them as well sometimes, that he kind of fits with their style of defense. Also, I think this is starting to get into his actual range of where he could be going. And then it depends, I guess, on your D lineman. If you think that Peter Woods or Caleb Banks or something like that could work here, a decent 3 tech there to go with Tavondre Sweat makes some sense as well.
You know what I haven't really done? I haven't done a good job of, in my mind, of replacing Sauce Gardner. And I got Avion Terrell sitting right here.
How much do you play into his bad pro day, the hamstring injury, things like that? Because I've been seeing him fall out of the first round so much now, and I think that it's ludicrous.
Listen, guys get soft tissues and it slows them down. Like, it is a thing. Corners got to be able to run, but like, he's a nickel guy. I don't know that he's going to. I don't have too much concerns, man. I really like him. It sucks that you get a bad pro day, that you get a tweak, but when you look at the tape was really good. Like, when we get into these parts, like, we try to nitpick so much. Like, okay, this and this and this. There's all of these elements that all come together. One bad day, I'm not going to take out of the first round. I'm taking him right here.
Yeah, I like Avion Terrell a lot. I think that it's just the season right now where every little thing that people nitpick makes people rise or fall. We saw it with Monroe Freeling, where Monroe Freeling has made huge jumps and leaps because he had a pretty good fucking combine. I think that he has a chance to be a really good left tackle. I don't think that he's a good left tackle necessarily year one.
Right.
But like, we've seen him, like you said, go as high as 6 off of some little stuff happening. And then you have Avion Terrell, who's falling sometimes out of the first round because of a hammy injury in a slow 40. Like, that's not who we saw on tape. So it absolutely makes sense to me. Next up, Detroit Lions. They need tackle help. They need edge rush help, but there is an edge rush here that I like. I like some of the edge rush options that they'll get a chance at in the second round. The question is, do you move Penny Sewell to the left side and take the best right tackle, or do you take a Monroe Freeling here and leave Penny Sewell on the right side? Penny Sewell, I believe, is all for moving to the left side. You typically make more money there. Mm-hmm. I think that he's smart enough and good enough to be able to do it. Yeah. We've seen him play on the left a little bit in the past, and it wasn't a problem. So I'm interested to get your thoughts here, because right now I'm between 2 players, Monroe Freeling or Caden Proctor.
Okay.
Caden Proctor, I've heard that they like him quite a bit. And he makes sense to me as a right tackle in this league, even though he played a lot of left.
Played left tackle at Alabama. I think could move to right because you worry about some of the athleticism and all that stuff. But you could also slide him inside. So position flexibility, I think, is far more flexible with a Caden Proctor than you're going to get with a Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling, you're going to have to set in there and be like, hey, motherfucker, you're our starting left tackle. And is that the greatest thing that you could do to help that young man or this Lions offensive line out? I don't know. Listen, Freeling has risen really high in the draft. I got him at 24. Like, I know.
And I would think that you're probably hoping that he makes it to 24 still.
But I wouldn't mind him getting him at 24. 17. I know he's a 17th ranked prospect. I'm honest. I think I like Caden Proctor more because of the position flexibility.
And I feel like he's more of a Dan Campbell type, personally.
Yeah.
I'm going Caden Proctor. I've heard steam about him. Caden Proctor here going to the Lions.
Caden Proctor, it is. And I think Caden could start over there on the left. If it doesn't work, fucking switch them. They're both enormous goddamn human beings.
I would, if I'm the Lions, as soon as I make Proctor the pick, I'm already on the phone with Penny Sewell. Be like, start practicing left. Just start practicing left. You take the rest of this offseason to practice left. Yeah. Lean into it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
18.
I'm
Vikings
going
are
to
on the
Vikings
clock.
rep. Anybody willing to trade me their second round pick this year and a first round pick next year?
No, not a first round pick next year. Not a
Atlanta
fucking
Falcons,
chance.
are you out there? You did it this last draft with the Rams, right around this range.
Well, not for Jeremiah Love. They're not coming up to.
Well, the Falcons aren't. But would any team be willing to do that?
No, not for next year, dude. Now, with Jeremiah Love on the board here, you're like, man, this is one of the best players in the draft. I should go get this guy. But when you start talking about picks next year, you wouldn't give me a fucking second. Ain't nobody giving you a first next year.
For Jeremiah Love at this point, I would consider it if I was another team, possibly. And that's the only thing that I'm listening to if I'm the Vikings, with Jeremiah Love on the board. Now, if Jeremiah Love wasn't here, you do have Dylan Thieneman, who I like. I don't think he's the best fit here. I've said this before. I think AJ Halsey is a better fit at safety than Thieneman and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren with this Vikings team. Thieneman is the most commonly mocked person to my Vikings at 18 right now. And it's replace white safety with new white safety. We haven't heard anything from Harrison Smith, and I think it's all a smokescreen. I think Harrison Smith is going to come back and play another year. They already did a retirement ceremony for CJ Ham and Adam Thielen together. If
he wasn't
Harry
involved.
was going to retire, I feel like he would have announced it. I think Harrison Smith also could just be sitting here waiting, saying, I will sign a week before the season starts, so I don't have to do OTAs and stuff like that in training camp, which is basically what he did last year. He didn't do any of that stuff. He doesn't need to because he's fucking Harrison Smith. But yeah, if no one's willing to trade up with me, oh gosh, I guess I got to take Jeremiah Love. And I promise you, everybody who's watching this, we didn't plan this out. We didn't plan this out. I do not think that this happens. But
somebody will move up for him at some point.
And my Vikings probably would. And the thing is, I offered up that third earlier to possibly go up and get him. And it's because we have a lot of holes on this team. And I think that Rob Brzezinski is going to look more towards trading down, trying to acquire more picks, because the first round in this draft isn't fantastic. The second and third round is filled with a lot of players who are going to be able to be step-in starters that maybe don't have this super high ceiling. And so Brzezinski is going to be willing to say, I need a meat and potatoes draft. Give me guys who can come in, start, be long-term starters here. Maybe not the super high-end guys, but we need to refill the depth of this team. And so I'm not willing to trade up a whole lot to go up and get a guy. But if Jeremiah Love did start to make a fall, he would probably consider it. But again, people, this wasn't planned, but Jeremiah Love is here, absolutely going to my Vikings. There's no way that he makes it past this spot.
Yeah, 100%. There's no shot that he makes it past this spot. He won't make it to this spot when the actual draft comes around, but no way he makes it past it.
Yeah. All right, Carolina Panthers. I guess I get 3 in a row here.
How y'all do it?
I'm going Dylan Thieneman.
Are you?
Yep. Dallas Cowboys want him, unless someone wants to try to trade up here with me, including that Dallas Cowboys team. Because the Cowboys earlier went out there and got themselves Jermod McCoy. They could try to solidify the rest of that backfield with the Dylan Thieneman. I think that he makes a lot of sense there as well. But that's who I'm going with here if I'm on the Carolina Panthers, best on the board, in my opinion, to support that defense. Unless somebody a little bit further back here would like to make a move up for Thieneman. Would a Philadelphia Eagles be willing to beat out a Dallas Cowboys for him?
No, probably. That's you. So
it is.
Would they be willing to? So I see Bills, Browns, Jets is what it's saying here for me, or the 3 offers.
Who would the Bills be moving up for, do you think?
I mean, the receivers are getting kind of slim.
Now, I know that I personally am lower on Casey Concepcion and Omar, but that's not to say that the Bills wouldn't be. I think that they could kind of fit in that system.
I don't know.
I could see the Panthers going after one of those wide receivers too, alongside Tate. I know Panthers fans have been kind of banging the table to get a trio of wide receivers out there in Tate McMillan, Jalen Coker, and a third guy.
Well, they were hoping Xavier Legette was going to be it, but that has not panned out.
Not yet.
I mean, so Kevin would slot into that spot for them. Because Kevin's a pure slot. Conception's a pure slot. But you know what? The Cowboys are pretty desperate to improve that defense. Let's talk
on here. I've got the Cowboys as well. That would be willing to give up pick 92 to move up to 20. You gain a third round pick for dropping back one spot. I'll talk to you, Jerry.
You're okay. All right. So let's talk. So you're saying you give me, I give up 20 and 92 for 19.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. It's telling me that they'll likely reject it on this side, but
yeah, it's 112% chance that the Panthers would be willing to take that on this one. I'm good with that.
So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna actually just force the trade.
Executed. Dallas is on the clock. Are you going after who I think you're going after?
Well, I am gonna take Tiananmen, yeah.
All right. Tiananmen there to the Cowboys. And Carolina Panthers, I talked myself into a KC Concepcion.
Yeah.
Concepcion there to the Panthers. All right. That puts me
nice
up
quick.
Again with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm up again. Goodness gracious. Can't stop.
Won't stop.
And they need a lot of different stuff. Is this the Ty Simpson spot? No.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is. Take Ty Simpson.
No, it's not. I can't do that. I could see Ty Simpson getting into like the 31st, 32nd pick just to get the 5th-year option. And then you don't feel super terrible if you're one of those teams and you have to move off them after a year. And I'm looking at you, Arizona Cardinals, New York Jets, something like that. But no, I'm going with a little bit of a different pick here than I think normally gets mocked. Omar Cooper makes a lot of sense to me to get another wide receiver out there. But I'm actually going with Caden McDonald, a nose tackle to go in there. I secretly think that he has some pass rush upside. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to be a great pass rusher, but I think he has some pass rush upside. Caden McDonald's still a young player and has shown some glimpses of being able to rush the pass a little bit, but he's a solid lockdown nose tackle at worst with a little bit of upside there. So give me Caden McDonald to the Steelers.
So I don't like that because he's going to make it hard to run the ball in the AFC North, especially against that Steelers defense. That's a good pick. I didn't think about, especially with Hayward, man. He's getting up there in age too. Like,
you just paid him a weirdly large amount of money as well to stay. I got to think there's a lot of funny money in that. So McDonald is a long-term solution there in the middle.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So Chargers now. I get to pick again. Hey, here we go.
Finally.
Yeah.
Well, you got the Edelman in there.
I did.
A little trade action.
So, man, receiver could have been an option, but I don't fucking necessarily like that route right here. Offensive line could be addressed because their fucking offensive line, while they were healthy, was pretty good, but they could use interior offensive line all over the place.
This is what I don't get, though. Okay. They've got 2 of the best tackles in the league, and they still have tackle listed on here.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about tackle because if they're healthy, they're fucking good.
Yeah.
But it's too high for Pregone, I think, maybe. Even though I really like him. And they've got him ranked at like 49.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Pregnon. And I don't know exactly where Stick to the Model sources their rankings. I think that they do a conglomeration of multiple boards, which most of the main people who put out boards put them out within the next couple of days for their final top big boards. So I think Pregnon is a extremely solid guard. probably very late first round into the second round, though.
Oh, man.
But this is the thing. First round, I think you are looking at like guys pick 15 and forward. They're the first rounders. Otherwise, everyone starts to into a second rounder mold here.
So I can reach here a little bit, and I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. You know, that defense feels like it's pretty decent in the back end, but not necessarily great up front. I mean, Peter Wood's sitting right here. I think you play either front, odd front, even front. I'm gonna go with Peter Woods for the Chargers right here.
I like it. I think Peter Woods is a safer defensive lineman pick. Makes a lot of sense to me. Has pass rush upside. Not super productive there at Clemson, but I think that he will be more productive in the NFL.
Listen, a couple of years ago, he was baller. Like, everybody at Clemson took a big old step back this year. TJ Parker was one of those guys. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Dabo stinks.
Yep. All right. Pick 23, Philadelphia Eagles. I think this might make you happy. I'm going with a guy that's a little bit rated further down here. I'm going with Max Ianachor, however you say it. I think that he's the future right tackle for this team. They're looking at this long-term play. Lane Johnson's only got so long left in the NFL. It could be a Monroe Freeling, but I like Ianachor a little bit better right now.
All right. I did not expect that. Okay, and the Browns are on the clock, and I got to tell you, I'm starting to have some second thoughts on Freeling, man. The Browns have, I don't know what we're going to go to, but our offensive line has been consistently running basically nothing but zone scheme for what feels like the last decade plus. And Monroe Freeling is not good at run blocking. He's not good at zone run blocking. So it makes me very worried about what we're going to look like if we bring in Monroe Freeling.
He did get better at run blocking in the latter part of the year. I actually watched another offensive line podcast. Nate Tice, who's the son of Mike Tice, former Vikings head coach, offensive line coach, tight end. And they were very high on Freeling. They think that his upside is pretty high there as a left tackle long term. I feel better about Monroe Freeling as a left tackle, and I like him better in this range because you're not expecting him to necessarily go gangbusters right off the rip. Because if he would, that's when you're going to be talking about him as a top 10 pick.
See, I understand, but I also feel like I can get a Caleb Lomu right here who's much safer in my mind. Might not have the bigger upside.
Also rougher in the run blocking.
Yeah, but 6 and 1, half dozen the other then, right? Like I'm getting the same shit regardless. I think Lomu was a little better technically sound. Listen, I'm gonna piss Browns fans off. I'm gonna go Lomu, even though Freeling's sitting here on the board. I'm starting to have some doubts on Freeling.
All right. Monroe Freeling taking a little bit of a precipitous fall here. To the Bears at pick 25, I'm going to Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, going to be replacing that defensive backfield. I wish I could find an edge rusher there. I think that in the second round, they hope to find a defensive tackle on the likes of a Lee Hunter or something like that. I considered Lee Hunter going here, but I will take an Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Bears hoping to get themselves a guy who's got a very similar name that plays out there in Seattle now in the back end of their defense.
Okay. All right. Bill's on the clock. Wide receiver in need, potentially.
I'll throw out, I got two spots I like here. I don't like Denzel Boston. I'm not going to do the comparison. They're the receiver there. I do think that an Omar Cooper could definitely work there with what they do. I also like an Akeem Mesidor off the edge for him. They are in a closing window. They need someone who can come and produce right away. Akeem Mesidor, older prospect, probably going to go towards the back end of the first round, but someone that could step in and probably produce right away for him.
Okay.
Those are the two spots that I'm thinking of.
So I like edge, but if I'm going to go edge, and it's nothing against Akeem Mesidor, but Keldrick Falk maybe might be a little bit better fit. No. I mean, they are probably ready. I know that you like Akeem Mesidor. The concerns are the age. How much better is he gonna get? So I understand where you're going, and I don't like the receivers right here. I would rather attack receiver a little later on. Like I love a Chris Bell, Elijah Surratt, Ted Hurst. Those are all guys that I could target later on if I'm the Bills. So I think edge is probably the right way to go. You kind of you sold me. Akeem Mesidor. Listen, another dude that was fantastic all fucking year. The problem is he's so goddamn old.
They don't call him Akeem Leatherhead Helmet Mesidor for nothing.
Akeem Leatherhead Mesidor. But that's where I'm going to go. You talked me into it. Akeem Mesidor to the Bills.
All right. This is where the Monroe Freeling drop stops.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, just didn't pick up his option. That time passed, so he is owed like 40-something million. They're pretty sure they're going to be able to work something out here by the draft or before the draft. That being said, Trent Williams is old. They're going to need a plan for the future. This allows Monroe Freeling to possibly sit for a little while. Also, Trent Williams gets hurt every year, and so Monroe Freeling will get to play a little bit this year. So he's the pick there for San Francisco.
Yeah, it makes 100% sense. And honestly, that is probably the best thing that can happen for Monroe Freeling. Like, if he doesn't have to step in right away and start at left tackle in the NFL, that's probably the best thing for him. Like, because he still needs some seasoning. But all right, moving on to Houston here. Offensive line is the order of the day for this team. I can pick any offense. I can close my eyes and pick any offensive lineman at this point, and I feel like I would be doing them a huge fucking favor. We got Blake Miller still sitting there. Pregnan, who I like a lot. Back into the first round. Oof. I'm going Pregnan, man. I really like him. I know that the offensive line was just awful last year. They have tried to add a little bit to improve it, but the depth is still terrible. Like, Pregnan should be able to step in and start right away. So that's where I'm going.
All right. Next up with the Chiefs. And look, I absolutely agree. They need offensive line help however they can. They've done a lot this offseason to try to bring in pieces, but none of them really excite me. So bringing in a Pregnan who can be a day one starter and a lockdown guy for a long time makes a lot of sense. Kansas City, I'm going with Omar Cooper Jr., their own little version of Debo there. They need wide receiver help. Rashee Rice, apparently what he did wasn't worth the suspension in the NFL's eyes. Also, their receivers can't stay healthy, can't stay on the field. So give me an Omar Cooper Jr., definitely not a Tyreek Hill guy, but someone that can definitely work the underneath, and they can build up some gadget stuff for him. So Omar Cooper going to the Chiefs.
Omar Cooper. All right. So that leaves Miami on the clock. Earlier in this round, they went with tackle Spencer Fano. So I could add any piece right here. I need somebody who can catch the ball on my team. I don't have a ton of that. I got Malik Washington, Tutu Atwell, and Jalen Tolbert. That is my top 3 wide receivers. None of those guys are big. So, I mean, I got Denzel Boston sitting here. You like him a little bit more than I do, but this feels a massive need. contested catch winner, huge red zone target. Malik Willis needs some fucking help. So I'm going to go with a Denzel Boston here.
And I like this a lot for them because he is kind of a big contested catch type of receiver. Also, I've said this before when we did our wide receiver rankings. Best blocking wide receiver in the draft. They have Devon Achane there right now. They're going to have to lean on that Packers mentality. They like to run or lean on the run game a little bit. Don't be surprised if Achane gets traded during the draft night. I wouldn't be completely surprised because right now he is staying away from the team. He wants a new contract. And I was surprised with what he was asking for. He's looking for $11 million a year. I was expecting that to be higher. So he's looking for at least $11 million a year. And if Miami's not willing to pay that, I'm sure there's a lot of suitors out there that would be willing to bring him in, including my Vikings, for the right price. But if they do keep him there, Denzel Boston helping out in that run game as a blocker, also brings some receiving talent there, makes a lot of sense. New England Patriots, I'm going to go for a right tackle here, going with Blake Miller. I think that he fits with that Vrabel system. We won't be hearing from Diana Russini about their potential prospects there. But Blake Miller rounding out that offensive line on the right side for the Patriots.
All right. So, last pick of the first round, Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks, are on the clock, and they need a running back. Kind of. They have one, except for he blew out his fucking
Charbonnet's not going to be available for a little bit.
Yeah. Their backup is Cam Akers.
Which I'm not even positive that he's still technically on the roster.
I'm not sure he is either. That's what they have here. I'm not sure that he is on the roster. If he was signed to a futures contract. I also don't hate the idea of trading out of this spot.
They have Emmanuel Wilson and George Halani as their other options.
So not great. I would love, if I'm in Seattle, to trade out of this spot if I could.
Which is absolutely possible if someone wants to move up there for a Ty Simpson.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So what team wants to come up into the first round to get a quarterback, potential quarterback of the future? It's the Steelers.
Steelers, Cardinals, Jets, and Rams. Those are the ones I think that would be looking at.
Cardinals could do it for relatively cheap this year, I would imagine.
Yeah, moving from pick 34 to 32, you're not having to give up a whole lot there in order to do that. Let's see here. Pick 4 or a fourth round pick 104. That's a little bit later.
You can do it for a fifth.
It's close to the correct value. That's 184 points to 208 points. Close.
Are they willing to take that chance? And now he's not going to start, right? Like,
well, this is the thing is I can see the Cardinals doing it out of desperation, but also I think the last head coach, LaFleur's the last head coach that's hired. I think they're going to give him a pretty big leash. They also know they're going to be a bad team. They are vying for that first overall pick. This isn't like we need a quarterback to get us through. You've got two of those guys in Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
I think that people talk about the Cardinals because they need a quarterback, but I don't think that the Cardinals are in a position where they're like, let's find a quarterback this year. They're all focused on 2027.
So the Steelers are not expecting to be a shit team, so they need a quarterback. How are they going to get one?
I still think that they also believe that Aaron Rodgers will be back, which allows a guy like Ty Simpson to sit. And the Steelers aren't going to be in a good spot to pick one next year. So they make a lot of sense to me trying to move up and get that quarterback.
Now, what does that look like if we're the Steelers?
I'm going to throw one out here. You flip-flop 64 and 53. And the Steelers have to throw in a little bit extra, possibly pick 99 here.
All right, hang on a second. So the Steelers are giving up 53 and which was it? 99?
53 and 99 for pick 32 and 64. So Steelers, the Seahawks are able to move up in the second round.
No, you're giving where that's way too much value. So 32 for 53 and 99 is still likely to be accepted. Like 85. So if I went at like 53 and 85 for 32.
This always hurts my head. I'm doing this backwards. Let's see here.
Because the Steelers have 3 first-round picks. Like they are not, 3 third-round picks. So they can move those fuckers around however they want. Like if they need to go up to 76, they could still do it, and they still have multiple third-round picks. That's why it feels like this is the right team to come up to get Ty Simpson in the first round. Like they have plenty of stuff this year. They don't have to give up anything next year.
Yeah.
And Seattle's not looking for a fucking quarterback next year. They're hoping that everybody drives these quarterbacks up next year so they get a really goddamn good player to fall to them.
All right.
So I think the most even we can make this thing is 53 and 76 for 32. Without giving you another fucking pick.
You think Seattle kicks in anything?
Only if it's a
Seattle doesn't have very many picks. So they're only gaining. I mean, Seattle's dropping back a hell of a lot.
If they a fifth,
32 to 53,
a fifth, 161.
All right, that makes it almost even.
Yeah.
All right, let's force this one through. Makes sense to me. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ty Simpson.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Ty Simpson. They need a quarterback. Quarterback of the future.
All right, that rounds out our what we would do. First round mock 2.0.
All right, let's give this thing a round of applause. I like this system. It's a little different. Took a little bit of getting used to, honestly.
But it feels good to break away from PFF a little bit. I know we've been doing a lot of PFF there with 32 mocks in 32 days.
Yeah, it hasn't been 32 days. I've had to miss some. I recorded one this morning, like I said, and it fucking computer shit. So I'm going to have to re-record the 49ers. But I like this. Now, the grades here, I don't know what you're looking at, what you can see, but I don't exactly know how all of this breaks down. Some of these teams did great. Some of these teams did shit, like the Jets.
I don't completely trust these. Yeah, the Jets getting a D for Bailey with that pick. That makes no sense to me. But yeah, I like it. Minnesota getting an A grade for getting Jeremiah Levitt pick 18 is insane. That's an A++ because it's not going to happen. Jeremiah Love is a top 5 pick.
100%.
Who's going to do it? But in this scenario where Arvell Reese is available to the Titans, I think the Titans take him.
Yeah.
I think he makes a ton of sense. And then it's just who's going to take him after that?
Who wants to go up and get him? That's the question.
Washington Commanders, I don't know that he falls past the Commanders at that point.
Honestly, yeah, that's probably, yeah, because I love Bill, but that running back room is a little lean.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, guys, Evo, we ready to wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun, dude. I love doing mock drafts. I do multiple a night usually, so it's nice to get to do one with the people, do one with you, bounce some ideas around. Always fun. It'll be interesting too on draft night to see how many trades actually happen. We didn't execute very many. I think only two trades that I think that we executed here during this. But I don't think there's going to be a ton of moving and shaking. But there's been a lot of rumblings that they think there's going to be like 7 or more in this first round, which to me is wild, especially if we're talking about investing any sort of 2027 capital. Because
exactly.
2027 looks like such a boon of a draft. Like I said, as the Vikings, I'm looking to trade down, and I would give up pick 18 for a first rounder next year straight up.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, next year's draft is supposed to be insane. You guys are in need, probably, of a quarterback. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Man. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. Evo, I appreciate you, big dog. Everybody who did tune in tonight, thank you very much. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give some to us, we are forever grateful. I'm going to give Evo one last word, then we're going to get the fuck out of here. Go ahead, Evo.
Love your spouse. Love your significant other. Just because Sedona is nice and romantic doesn't mean you need to go there with someone else. Create your own Sedona at home.
Hell yeah. Sedona at home. All right, guys. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This was Raw Dog Sports. See you.